Dramatic times.
Can we get a...
And we're here. What were you going to ask me?
Like this layout. I didn't like the two big half-screen layout.
Oh, yeah. We're good to go. That's been a pretty shitty day, to be honest. I spent last night having to deal with Ronnie Radke in my DMs.
You've had a shitty day, sir.
I'm
on the uptick.
That was entertaining.
I'm on the uptick from COVID, so I'm good.
Oh, Jesus. It came out today. There were some allegations made against Tilian Pearson of Dance Gavin Dance. They're pretty substantial allegations. A very lengthy post on Reddit from what is the user's name is Throwaway with Human Hair. It's on the Dance Gavin Dance Reddit, and it's discussing in full detail of a situation that happened after Swanfest where Tillian is being accused of some forceful sexual assault. Tillian's being accused of rape. I hate that word. I hate that it requires a trigger warning, but Tillian's being accused of some very serious shit. It's not a laughing matter. It's not fun. It's definitely not fun for the fans because they're divided. Everyone's either attacking me for reporting on this and saying inside shit that I know, or they're just heartbroken that someone they enjoy listening to is now almost, well, can't say proven, but a lot of people believe that he is guilty. A lot of people on the internet are really standing by the victim. I want to make it clear that I believe the victim in this case. Before I had the victim message me and speak to me on anything, she came to me and kind of outed herself before she made the post. I don't want to bring up her name if she still wants privacy, so we're just going to leave it at that. Her story combined with what I've experienced with Tillian, they seem to go right in line. My experience with Tillian is that he's always been an egotistical womanizer, what you would call a player. He has a sexual encounter on tour, and he has to tell you about it, similar to high school guys. He has to speak on it. I always found that very off-putting. It was weird to me, but I also keep in mind that Tillian used to be ugly. When he was in Tides of Man, he was an ugly dude. When he joined Dance Gavin and he shaped up, he's an attractive man. A lot of things changed for him, and the ego grew. He has a problem fucking fans. I can attest to that. I can't say I witnessed this happening because we didn't walk in on him, but we knew when it happened. And there was even one time when it was happening on the bus, and without seeing any real nudity, we knew what was happening in there, and the TM shut the power off on him. Just like sick of him using up the space. Like the bus is locked. We need to get in here, and you're fucking another fan. My experiences with Tillian are strictly from 2015. Like, let's be real. I have not been in contact or toured with that band. Tillian spoke to me right before Tim's death, and we haven't spoken since. I'm not like friends with these people. They're just someone I toured with. They were one of my favorite bands, and after the tour, I don't listen to them anymore. Plenty of reasons not to. Mainly, I just don't like the way they treated me. I don't like having my favorite band like cuss me out drunkenly over nothing.
We're not also, and I'll add to Matt's story with, me and Matt, long time Dance Gavin Dance fans, and Matt will not shy away from saying don't meet your favorite bands, because
don't meet your idols.
This is one of those instances where he did meet a band that he really, really enjoyed and really liked and really looked up to, and they didn't turn out to be the best people. And I can speak to that because I was there to witness those things in that certain scenario situation. And since
you got to meet Will, you got to hang out with Will and see the fun, good side of Will.
We hung out with him early times too. While Johnny was in the band, 2007 timeframe, before Tillian, right? But I'm speaking to how we did connect with Dance Gavin Dance on more than just a fan band basis. And then once you actually got closer to them in the touring aspect and lived with them, they were different people to you. And I'm just trying to narrate that they changed over time. They were some of your favorite people, and they became some of your not so favorite people.
It's something that I don't necessarily like speaking on, just like shitting on Dance Gavin specifically because of all the things that I've witnessed and been involved in, just being on that bus with them. I don't like hurting the fans' feelings. I don't get off on that shit. It doesn't look. I get alerts on my Twitter that say I got 26 new followers, but my count only went up by 6. That means 20 people unfollowed me. It's been an up and down scale all day. So I'm sorry. Like, I used to be a fan, just like all of y'all, but 2015, it ended for me. I bowed out. I stopped listening. I went on my way. Everyone's been asking me who these guys are and what their true character is. And I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. They're a weird, funky bunch of dudes. I think if they didn't have this band, they would all be homeless. I mean,
okay.
Look. Okay. I'm not poking fun. I'm not just saying a diss here. These are grown adults right now that grew up in this band. Aside from Tim, God rest his soul, these guys didn't work day jobs and participate in a band. It was a band. It had success. It took off. They toured, and that's all they've done. I mean, think about that. Will Swan's only job has been writing guitar for Dance Gavin Dance. He's never worked at a Target or done all this other shit. Like, it's just that. So that's what breeds this party element to the band. And everyone in the touring scene, as I'm getting on this tour, everyone looked at them as like, look, they're great musicians. The music's great. I can't complain about that. They have these sense of humors. They're supposed to be these funny, quirky dudes, and everyone's like talking them up. And then the tour starts, and you realize those same people that were talking them up are just as fucking annoyed by them now.
Before we and this, to sum all this
is all
up,
a preface.
Right? Yeah, to sum all this up, what this is an experience of people that were in a band very young, successful, very young. They've been growing up in the very public eye, and they've been growing up in a very specific lifestyle. And that lifestyle is the rock and roll lifestyle. They are rock and rollers. Plain and simple. They've never doubted it. Many bands in this era don't deny it, don't doubt it, but Dance Gavin Dance is the epitome of a rock and roll band right now, and they're only getting bigger. They're playing a huge stadium out here in fucking New Braunfels, Texas, which is in the middle of fucking nowhere with Coheed and Cambria. It's a gigantic ass stadium, or not a stadium, but a little arena show. They
shut down the bridge in Sacramento to film.
These guys aren't. They're rock stars.
They're not like a mainstream radio rock band, but they are a big deal. They're big enough crowds. Deal.
Yeah, they're pulling crowds, and this is all they've known. And so they're growing up in front of us, and sometimes that brings about a whole slew of consequences, aka exiting members of the band, aka Tim, unfortunately, RIP, but these guys grew up in front of us, and what we're seeing now today is, unfortunately...
Do you know what an idiot savant is?
Yeah. We've talked about that too. In regards to,
I would say that in terms of like Will and Matt and John specifically, that they're idiot savants. If it was like, they're geniuses at this band at doing Dance Gavin Dance, but outside of this, I don't know what the hell they would do.
Will at music. I mean, Will's
musicians. Great at music.
They're musicians.
Dad's like a famous producer and shit.
They're all really good musicians. Tillian's a good musician.
They're great. Here's what I got in trouble for today. I made a post about how they're problematic. I said that, John actually quit the band back at when the Death Star album came out. John and Eric Lodge quit the band like as soon as it dropped. They said it was because John had Lyme disease. The real reason is because John Mess picked up a cocaine charge. He didn't want it to tank the band, and there was something he was doing where there was like either he said something about children, like he didn't want to upset kids. Like he was either doing some program with kids, like with music, or it was the fans of the band. I mean, this is 2015, he told me. I don't have a screenshot. People wanted proof of this. I don't have it. So you're either going to take my word and the fact that we've never lied to you before, or you're just going to say I'm a clout chaser and an asshole like the rest of Twitter. But John quit the band after Death Star because of cocaine charge. Just this year, Matt went to rehab over alcohol abuse. We've sadly lost Tim due to a accidental fentanyl overdose. That's not breaking news. News outlets have posted that. I'm not breaking that news. I'm not disrespecting the family. The news is out there. I didn't speak on that or point that out until after it was reported. I figured that was the appropriate amount of time. But you add all that up with the now recent allegations against Tillian for sexual assault, and it's time that we admit that Dance Gavin Dance is a problematic band. It's been an issue for me seeing a bunch of people idolize John Mess and think he's something he's not. And I guess it's not my place to tell you what he is or isn't, but I don't agree with a lot of the idolizing of him on the internet. I don't think people have a good idea of what these guys are like behind closed doors. I'm glad Matt got sober. I would never shame someone for going to rehab. It's the behavior that he participated in that led up to him having to go to rehab. Like, I see resemblances in the way that Matt was out of control drunk, where you can't find him at the end of the night when it's bus call because he's locked in a bar with the bar owner and he's not picking up his phone and he's going to drink all night and doesn't care when we leave. I've seen Tillian start demonstrating shit like that. Okay, we should speak on the allegations first. I'm not going to say the girl's name. She details an experience basically after Swan Fest, that they were kind of like leading on to date, maybe, that Tillian might have led her on. There was some non-consensual sexual activity, is the nicest way I can put this. I'm trying to paraphrase like a 4-page long explanation. So I urge everyone to read this because there's no way that I can do it justice and paraphrase it.
I think I could. Want me to take a stab at it?
Oh, just don't disrespect her, man, because we gotta be careful when there's victims and shit.
So, according to what Throwaway with Human Hair put on Reddit, she was very public about it, and she is allegations regarding Tillian, very straightforward, and basically starts off and goes, "Hey, I didn't really know how to approach this post, but I wanted to get it off my chest. It's been eating at me for a second, and here's what it is." Apparently, during Swanfest, Tillian and this lady had some cordial visits. And these visits were at a couple different locations. One was at an Airbnb with the band after Swanfest. Another was the night of Swanfest. And apparently they got intimate. Tillian, the word rape is never used. I will say that. But Tillian does some boundary crossing behavior, strikes her sexually, and I say that because it was in the heat of the moment, right? Porn, getting to people nowadays, but it was a porn slap. Looks like that's what happened. She reaffirmed boundaries. She did say
he slapped her, and she's saying that she got slapped hard, and I'm thinking,
and it dazed her.
What kind of move or game is this?
Yeah,
like,
and they did it again right after.
Is he drunk in every one of these instances? Because
he's drunk. He is drunk.
That's going to be the first excuse. He's already used Tim's death as an excuse, and that was sickening.
Possibly listen.
I understand a person grieving and mourning, but you're not going to use your bandmate's death to excuse abusing or assaulting someone.
No, but you are going to use that as an excuse to get sympathy, and that's definitely what he did. He's not, I don't think, he hasn't come out and said, hey, the reason that I abused her that night was because of Tim's death. But she did say that he used Tim's death for sympathy, which, of course, probably does come from someone with an ego.
In his statement, he's pretty much putting it on that, I just lost my friend. Okay, we get it.
Well, yeah, he's saying he was in a vulnerable state and being weak. Anyways, and this all gets corroborated multiple different angles. But she apparently has a couple bad nights with him. Now, the second night in particular, when they're at this Airbnb, it is very apparent that she does not feel comfortable being at the Airbnb and she does not want to be there. Matt has a different perspective on this particular incident and this particular night, which corroborates this. But from the looks of it, what we have here is we have a situation where Tillian was having a romantic, intimate relationship with this girl for a brief period of time. And it came during a time where he was clearly not well. And she unfortunately suffered some unfriendly and
raped her.
And
he
toxic
straight up
behavior.
Assaulted her because she's laying there not wanting this. This is the story.
Right.
That she doesn't want this, and he's continuing. She's making it clear, and it's continuing. So it's no means no. It's the same shit we've heard. It's not. Now here's another disturbing part. When people post underneath stories like this, show proof.
Mm-hmm.
Proof of an actual sexual assault is something none of us want to see.
Well, that's accurate. Yeah,
that's a fact. But when you're referring to this, your proof is her story.
Does she say that she said no? Because on the Reddit,
she makes it clear in this story that this is happening, that that sex is happening, and she's not consenting, and that she's making it known that she's not comfortable. And he continues. That's absolute scumbag, boundary crossing, immoral shit.
Yes. Not rape. Yes, and yes, but it's not rape. And the only reason I say that is because she doesn't even claim rape allegations. She
doesn't want to say the word. She didn't want to say the word in that Reddit post. She makes the post later on Twitter when she acknowledges and comes out as who she is. but I understand that. Like,
Both
I don't
po-
like saying that word, and
both
it's
posts
like
that I saw as well didn't corroborate that they had sex. That she didn't allude to them having sex either night.
it's in there. It's almost like, I don't want to say glossed over, but it's she's trying to avoid terminology, and I can only chalk that up as to, something happened to you and you don't want to be referred to as a certain term, or you don't want to feel a certain way that you are this victim because you want to be a survivor. So I understand not wanting to use certain terminology. A lot of people took exception to that and thought that that was a hole in the story. I don't see that at all. As you've detailed this and talked about the Airbnb, I want to share some screenshots from someone inside the DGD camp. I will not tell you who this is. I've edited out their name and the responding messages. These messages were not to me. Don't tell them I have them. Yeah. But here's some context on some shit. I'm comfortable with saying that Tillian made a lot of poor decisions that night. Other band members really didn't want him to hang out with this girl, didn't want him to invite her to the Airbnb, didn't want him to miss bus call to hang out with her, etc. That's the type of drunk, dumbass behavior I'm talking about. Hanging out with a girl and missing bus call like everyone's fed up with them. The fact of the matter is that hooking up with fans is generally a bad idea. Before bringing the additional context that he had just had a very bad performance and that this was was in a very poor mental state over Tim. Like, I don't know if you saw the video from Swanfest, but at the end of the set he broke down and cried.
Oh,
I
he
haven't
cried
seen him.
throughout the whole set. He cried
Yeah.
throughout the whole set.
Well, he was fucking plastered apparently. I don't want to get into who did what when, but several people tried their hardest to keep Tillian away from this person, precisely because they expected something like this might happen. And here's another hole in the story that people took a problem with, that she admits she's in the wall of text that she has been involved in situations like this in the past and with guys from other bands. I don't know. That looks like a little bit of victim blaming to me from inside the camp. So this stays between us. One reason the Swan Fest, these are out of context to protect people. I don't think you should trust my judgment about this, since I'm not really sure I can be objective about this. Tillian made some awful decisions that the band counseled him multiple times not to make. But she also made some pretty awful decisions by choosing over and over an interface with someone by her standards was scaring her. I think it's very clear if you interact with Tillian in person for any amount of time that he has some kind of cluster B personality disorder.
Yeah, so basically cluster B personality disorder is anybody that's going to get overly reactionary, overly emotional, someone that could be sporadic, maybe more risk adverse, shit like that, right? Cluster B personality is people that are emotional. They're a little bit more unhinged. I don't want to say that in a weird way, but it's just, yeah. Again, it goes along with personality disorders. It's a very quick turn to emotions, quick turn to, and we see this as a pattern. There's a second girl that came out on Reddit. Now, I will say, I just scoured Reddit. The first chick, the throwaway with the human hair, that post seems to have been removed. I can't find that anymore on the Dance Gavin Dance subreddit.
I'm sitting here on it. If it did get deleted,
Okay,
I still have it on the browser. The subject is I want to talk about Tillian.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not seeing that on it anymore.
It says posted 18 hours ago.
Yeah. All right, I'll try again. But anyways, the second girl that came in and did it does have text message communications with Tillian, and it kind of alludes to the type or the cluster B personalities that Matt mentioned a second ago. He mentions hey, are you excited to come see me? Just very egotistical kind of stuff. The girl that throwaway with human hair, in her post, she talks about how Tillian was concerned with how excited she was to be there. Could you imagine that you were going to be here with me? A very egotistical approach, very all about me. We get this type of frontman syndrome. That's kind of what frontman syndrome is, right? You're center of attention. You want everything to be about you. Always. You are someone that doesn't get told no very often, which is something I want to highlight here. And me and Matt just discussed this before we went live. But when you get these types of personalities and these types of characters, and they're not told no often, they're not told no, or they're not put in their place, or they're not maybe given a perspective that isn't their own, and they're always told yes, or they always get what they want. It's really hard to knock them off their high horse, especially as they get what they want more and more and more and more and more. And someone who is successfully into their career, like a Tillian, has probably had more yeses than nos throughout his life and his career. And so he's put in a situation where he's under the influence and he's intoxicated and he's already kind of a shitty human being, right? And what do you get? you get this unfortunate incidents for this girl, but there is proof out there that it's very clear Tillian probably does need help of some sort, whether it's medicated help because he seems to have a
Alcohol,
personality
behavior.
disorder.
Yeah.
These types of addictive behaviors and addictive personalities can accentuate these behavioral issues as well. And so,
Couple
it's
points I
clear he needs help.
need to make on this stuff. So I hope this wasn't removed either by the victim or Reddit itself or whoever moderates it, but somebody took the original statement that Throwaway with Human Hair had made, reposted it under a new subject, put that font with the line through all of it, and then put an update, and it said, all of this is fake, I made it up, anyone can be accused of sexual assault, blah, blah, blah. It was not her. It was someone trolling to discredit her. A lot of people took it and ran with it. You know how the internet is with the news. It's bad. Misinformation's at an all-time high. That shit made me sick because for like 5 minutes I'm thinking, wow, I just got fooled all day on this. But it's not true. I told someone on Twitter that they apologized and thanked me for the clarification. It's crazy.
I did see the Hinge. The Hinge allegation is the one where she herself posted text message proof or messenger proof. And it was, they were meeting up in Sacramento. He was going to show her around town. They were going to have a good time after he came back from tour. Again, examples of weird behavior on his behalf. And
the problem with Tillian, like I said, he has a thing for fucking fans. And I'm not saying that, there's other bands that don't do that. Like, I think it happens quite often by a lot of fucked up people.
That's being a rock star. Groupies are groupies because the problem. They're groupies.
Here's the problem. You obviously have a mental, emotional, psychological advantage over this person. They, to you, are vulnerable. They are easy prey. It's not okay. Anyways, I don't like that. I don't like that. Someone's asking, curious to see if they will release a statement, other band members will come forward, or if the new album will be released.
Listen.
I think the album's coming out, and I think the band's going to try to dodge this as much as possible. I expected them to take the A Day to Remember route and just go as long as they can without kicking them out, because I bet you they're looking at this like, let's just squeeze out the rest of these tours and we'll break up. I think the band might end over it, dude. I mean, how long have they gone as a problematic band? If they don't, the only reason they're continuing is, like I said, they're idiot savants. They can't do anything else.
I don't like being in the camp of wishing demise on a band, especially. I mean,
I don't wish it. I just think it.
That's a little. I think that there is a little bit of not wish, obviously, but I think that you don't see a route for success where I think Dance Gavin Dance brushes these types of things off their shoulders fairly easily. And I'm not to say that this isn't to be taken serious. And what's crazy is that it's three very, very. Here's my line. This is not a cancelable thing only because it's not actual rape allegations and it's not any type of like crime, quote unquote, a moral crime. It is. Tillian, hey boy, if you're listening, I know you know who we are. All right. I know we're your favorite podcast despite the names of other podcasts.
It's Musselwhite, bro. Tillian, you know.
I know we're your favorite. All right. Despite illy placed names. Bro, get some help, man. That's all it is. You clearly have a fan base that even in the midst of this will come to your defense and come and say, hey, let's hear him out. There's a lot of similarities. And the similarities are that you probably do need some help with some substances, maybe some addiction problems. Hey, we all got them.
He's got behavioral problems, man. Because
that's not going to ever get helped without the addiction problems.
He needs
the substance
abuse fans. He needs that admiration and devotion from fans, because I don't know what it is.
It can be toxic too. It can be toxic too, though.
Dude, in 2015, when I toured with him, he was engaged and he was fucking everything that walked on tour. Anything that came his way. Dude, she even liked acceptance speech. I mean, the shit he was saying was stupid. Like, he was running through like girls like crazy, and it's like we kept saying, "Oh, what's your fiance thing?" Ha ha ha. Like, they're.
I mean, hey, I can't speak to this man's personal life. What these girls need to know is they need obviously some sort of compassion and closure because they are victims in this, and they're victims of manipulative behavior, which isn't good. Listen, let's not. What sucks is these situations come about so often that it's either hang them or fucking defend them at all costs. Hang them at all costs, defend them at all costs. How about this? How about, hey, there's some shitty behavior here. These girls need to be consoled and probably a little bit of love, right? This is a traumatic event for them. Get them the help that they need, and like let's be compassionate of them. But at the same time, let's not excuse this type of behavior and say that it just comes with the rock star territory. No. Let's nip this in the fucking butt. And if there's any band that has nipped it in the butt, a la a Matt, a la a replacing of band members for a more cohesive band unit, like this Dance Gavin Dance, you're a band that can do it. So you should get your boy some help because there's clearly toxic behavior that's being replicated. And now you've got several people coming out and shedding light on it. And it can only get worse from here, I'm sure.
So here's some more from the band. Okay. I think there's a very high chance that either Tillian will be asked to leave the band or the band will end completely, depending on how he handles this.
And that's from your source.
That's from a random source.
A random source. Do you trust this?
I trust him, but I don't think he knows he's a source.
Okay. But same guy that sent you the other stuff that we were just referencing.
It's all the same person,
okay.
yes.
Okay. All right.
Same guy or rehab for alcohol abuse a while ago. Clearly it didn't work. There's talks about assigning him a babysitter, which would be a bodyguard who follows him around on tour and makes sure he doesn't do weird stuff with fans. That is pathetic. Now, this band needed a babysitter when I toured with them, but that's just to wrangle them all up onto the bus. I mean, they're fucked up on whatever substance or drunk or whatever. I mean, they're the most out of control drunks I've ever toured with.
When you like
spit it out, boy.
There's an argument, but then you replace it with a different argument that somehow cooperates. Like, okay, in this example,
a distraction, a misdirect.
A misdirect. There you go. Because that's kind of a misdirect because you just went from the whole band needs a babysitter to like, no, Tillian needs this guy says that he needs a babysitter. What Tillian needs is professional help, not a babysitter.
They're saying that this is how they're going to get by touring, that they're going to get a babysitter so he doesn't do weird shit with fans. I meant that they needed a babysitter as like they need someone to watch over them like the tour manager because all their tour managers have sucked. Hi, Travis. Like they're not good. They don't do enough. It's like
what's the Mingus line that we say all the fucking time?
Oh, it was Mingus and Tim. We'll buy you, little bitch.
Bye, little bitch.
We'll buy you, little bitch. Yeah, that's
we'll buy you, little bitch.
When Cody quit. Yeah, good
you guys call me little bitch 13, 14 more times, I'm not gonna be your guys' friend anymore.
Yeah, if you haven't seen our episode on Dance Gavin Dance One Night in Dallas, that's a good one.
We have a couple of the episodes dedicated to Dance Gavin Dance.
Well, it was during the pandemic, someplace with horses. It's not as if the fans are entitled to that kind of information. I think Tillian is guilty of wanting to date fans because fans are utterly devoted to him in general.
Oh yeah, he clearly has attention issues. He needs attention. He clearly has some sort of probably detachment issue with this whole, are you going to leave me? Are you just going to leave me?
Okay, so when I read that, I was like, Tillian never did that when I was with him, but I can see it happening if he's like bad off. Like you can tell that he's the type of guy that like when he has a problem.
That's manipulative tactic though. Like,
yeah, it is. But if he has a problem, he's gonna want to fill his void.
I'm getting a glass of Coke
with another woman. That's what it is. He's gonna fill his void by fucking.
Oh yeah. That's just it. Yeah, you're gonna get the attention. You're gonna get the intimacy. Whatever you need in the moment, you're gonna satiate it in that short period, no matter what. That's for sure. That's a cluster B personality.
How didn't his fiance not flip out? That's a double negative, actually. One fiance left him. The one in 2015 that he was already calling his wife. That girl left him. The one that he addressed recently publicly with the cheating allegations. Allegedly, he didn't cheat on. I can't even speak to that one. I don't believe him.
She cheated on him and left him.
Oh, good for him.
Which further probably empowered him. From Reddit. Reddit is my source.
Bro, Karma's a motherfucker. Everyone's been speculating this. If they end up having Tillian leave, they probably have Kurt come back or have Andrew Wells take over. Everyone thinks Andrew Wells will take over.
Listen, as long as as long as Matt and Will are still kicking, the band will go on. They'll get another bassist and someone to sing. Dude, they'll fucking pull Matt Geisy from the dead and fucking get him to come in and fill parts. They've done that before
I'm
with
not
him.
even allowed to say his name anymore. I don't think. I'll probably have to owe him another $100. DGD is Rise's cash cow, so not surprising. That is true. Dance Gavin Dance is by far the most successful band on Rise Records. I'll go ahead and say it. With the amount of albums they have, dude, they're the most successful band ever on Rise.
Real quick, I
They've
just have to say this for all the new followers that are in here. You got to get at the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram, and all the good stuff. I threw it down there at the bottom third for you, just for the newbies to get it before we start.
normally live every Friday night, but when some awful
Hey,
shit like this happens, we have to
we
jump
did
on the net
this.
and
We,
tell what we know or report on it.
you know, gotta somehow keep you guys informed, keep you guys up to date. Hey, an example of people getting help when they need it. Burt McCracken of the Used, they just canceled a couple of dates in Europe, and he's getting some mental health rehabilitation.
My homeboy went to rehab with the drummer from the Cab, so I mean,
yeah, dude, we all need a little
everyone.
help. We all need a little help sometimes.
Music Cares is a great program too. If you don't know about it, they're one of the programs Johnny Craig went to at one point.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're
didn't
doing
help him.
they're
Didn't work in the end, but Music Cares is great. They look after artists.
they're doing the
I'm pretty sure it
iMatterfest.
gets paid for. Like they'll take care if you're in a signed band. Like they run you in there for free and they put you in sober living for 6 months in Hollywood, and you're supposed to come out of that successful. So I know a couple people who have actually made a success from that program, created a band, got signed to Fueled by Ramen. And some other people, just kind of drowned. I got really roasted for my comments on Twitter today, man. People don't believe me over the John Mess cocaine charge. I have no way to prove it. People are really upset that I brought up Tim's death and that this band is problematic. But can we agree? Rampant drug use in a band is a problem. Like it's interfering with you doing your fucking jobs.
Whether or not they're a problematic band or not, I don't think is worth an argument. Only because minus these one-offs, which aren't acceptable, right? But to say that they have been a band that hasn't had problems before is incorrect. They've had problems and been successful before. There's no reason they can have problems and not be successful again. It would just suck if this was a continuous behavior, right? And like the Matt thing, like it's unfortunate. Tim passing away is the most unfortunate thing that can happen, and he clearly had some problems, right? Fentanyl overdose, that's a big deal.
I knew that when I finished that tour, I knew that Tim was acting odd. And after speaking to a few people, I found out that he was popping pills, and it kind of made sense. I always wondered why he had to put his sunglasses on to go make an order at the mall food court. But Tim was the nicest guy in the band, and I find his death extremely tragic because, like, it's a fentanyl overdose. It's a shitty poisonous drug, and now crucify me for what I'm about to say, but I think his death could have been avoided.
Well, yeah, all those deaths can be avoided.
I mean, but specifically with these people, okay, with Dance Gavin Dance as a band, as those members, because Matt just went to rehab this year. Bryan, when did we first lay eyes on him outside of a show? Knitting Factory, Hollywood, 2008. He's plastered drunk in the middle of the day in daylight, and he's pinching on the millionaires' asses. And we ask him, what's it like to be in Dance Gavin Dance? And he says, I'm not even in that band. I'm a recording artist. That was how we met him. And that was how long ago? 15 years plus that this man's been an alcoholic, and the band has never addressed it. Like, I spoke to Tim about it because he said you can't even bring up that word around him. He doesn't think he is alcoholic. I mean, that's they ignored that problem and just put up with it. I remember an off day in Michigan. We're out of weed, and so some friend comes and picks them up. Tillian and Mingus leave. They go to get weed. I believe that they don't even get it. Whatever happened, something stupid. Matt gets hammered, gets in a fight with Tillian in the backseat of the car, and raptor claws his face. And so Matt's had this problem for how long? And it went unaddressed. No one wanted to have an intervention or intervene or say something at all. Like, he's so drunk, he's cussing out other people on tour that he dude, he was cussing out the wrong guy. He had never met him. Just dumb shit.
Yeah,
And it
yeah, yeah.
bothers me that none of them got him help sooner. It took a very public meltdown where he's like playing so badly that he needed to be removed and
You
replaced.
you are right in the sense that they don't want to be the band that's just known for their disasters. The Tim thing was a very public
Do
disaster.
we need another Dance Gavin Dance member to die before
We don't. We
we
don't.
step in and say, y'all have a problem? There's a problem with this band and the culture that you have raised on your bus or in your homes or your studio or wherever the hell your band
Yeah, but
takes
those
you
things are so
is
hard to change.
toxic.
Those things are so hard to change. You can only really, when it's that compounded, you can only really address them when the specific incidents come up and you handle those specific instances, right?
They
The
don't. They
the
ignore them.
the Matt thing, very unfortunate, but an example of, hey, he went and got help. So far, so good. Haven't had any issues with him. Let's see how that goes. The Tim thing, super unfortunate. Should never happen. And you're right. Possibly could have been prevented if Dance Gavin Dance had a little bit of a tighter grip on themselves. And if that's the case, I really hope that they're looking at themselves and self-reflecting a little bit and going, hey, maybe we could have prevented that. Maybe we do need to change. Now, the last public thing I can think of where Dance Gavin Dance went a little off and a little haywire was the Swanfest incident. Well, this coincides with Swanfest, and now it's making that whole situation look even more murky and more off-putting. And you already have fans that are willing to come to your defense time and time again, as I said a few minutes ago. There's a point in time where you don't want to be the band that's known for disasters, right? There's only so many more disasters Dance Gavin Dance can probably be hit with publicly where they're going to be able to capitalize on their name and their momentum that they have, and they'd be smart to just nip it in the bud now, you know? And this is like, there has to be something more than just Tillian going to Reddit, right? We've had these discussions and these conversations and
Tillian's
allegations on Reddit.
Sucked.
I mean,
bro.
At least we get statements from them. Beggars can't be choosers. Listen,
here's
the people
my
that
issue.
don't like the people that don't like the silence.
You're in a band. You're in a signed band. You have managers, business
Your publicist
managers,
could be doing it for
accountants.
you.
Like they have a band lawyer. Yeah, you could have a number of people do it, and that's the shitty statement you give. Like I don't even know if he's covering bases like all the other abusers out there.
I mean, a statement was valid enough to where, like, hey, here's my perspective and here's proof. Here's my text message.
It's excuses. It doesn't really deny. Like, I mean, he's trying to say, yeah, I didn't do it, and he's providing excuses, but it's like, I just didn't like it. I didn't like that. I don't like using Tim's death as an excuse, but I think at least the realists knew that was going to get brought up.
It's hard to read anybody that's been accused of something. It's hard to, you're never going to read their
valid
defense.
Point. He's made a statement on a page where there's a ton of supporters, though. Yeah, I mean, so it gets.
Hey,
that's why there's a bunch of people. There's a bunch of people that are on that page champion Tillian, and then everyone else show proof, discrediting the victim. It's fucking deplorable.
Oh, right.
You think Tillian has ever shown genuine remorse for anything he's ever done? Well, I mean.
The guys are always told,
like he doesn't think there was anything wrong with him taking advantage of girls or fucking fans or anything like that.
The yes men, those types of personalities don't. It's borderline probably narcissistic, where they almost probably don't know how to feel empathy, where they don't know how to feel any type of remorse in situations like this. But yeah, it's very rare where they say they're sorry and they're genuinely sorry and they go about correcting that behavior. That's the thing. Remember, they can say that they're sorry all they want and hey, they apologize and they can talk it back and walk it back all they want. But the correction of the behavior is what we're really looking for. And it's very rare that we see that in these types of situations.
This is a shitty situation.
It's a shit show.
It's a shit show. I mean, when allegations come out, you know, we've dealt with this far too much because I dip our toes into this stuff and try to put these abusers on blast and show support for victims. It sucks. I hate seeing this stuff come up. I hate seeing it from a band I know personally. I hate seeing fans react in such a toxic way that they're now like, we're all hurt. I mean, there's victims to this shit, and then the fans are just all upset and heartbroken that like this could happen. The rest of them are trying to defend a guy blindly. I mean, it's bad. It's a bad situation. It's toxic. Do you think Dance Gavin Dance has a toxic fan base? A lot of people have been saying that today.
One more time.
Do you think Dance Gavin Dance has a toxic fan base? Music
has toxic fan bases, period.
But there's a big difference in fans of like Susan Boyle and fans of Dance Gavin Dance.
I mean, it's safe to say.
I said that name on the podcast.
It's safe to say, shout out fucking America's Got Talent, right? Is that where she's from?
Up.
Britain's Got Talent, whatever that is. There's the scene's full of toxic behavior, especially in the scene. Fuck it, no, all toxic, son. What do you mean?
Has John Mess done anything sus compared to the rest of the band?
Your comparison of Dance Gavin to Susan Boyle isn't accurate. The correct comparison is there's no difference between Dance Gavin Dance fans and
Huffing Drywall.
No, I'll say Katy Perry fans because they've both played fucking Warped Tour several times. Jeez. So, they're all fucking toxic and creepy. Yeah, he had a coke problem and quit the band. Like we talked about it already.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting. The thing with John Mess that I always thought was weird is like he's never smiling or happy unless he's just completely fucked up. Like he's a very monotone, stoic person. He doesn't strike me as happy. I know in the videos that he's smiling and quirky. That is not my experience with him. It is a completely 180 from that. I don't know the person that you see in the videos. I don't know that guy.
Never met him.
It feels like a waste of talent and work ethic to let something so manageable corrode what you've built, especially when it comes to this legacy that Will Swan has fathered in the Blue Swan Swancore brand culture.
That's accurate.
That's fair. Get the mud boots on because it's dirty as fucking hair. DGD is a pretty toxic fan base, but it also has a lot of good people. I would agree. It's only a question because of the radical shit I've seen today. You've mentioned that they use alcohol heavy. Has any of the members been booked on DWI or DUI? No, not that I know of. Tino from A Mice and Men. I think there was allegations of John dating a minor or something. I've never heard that. I believed John had a girlfriend when we were on tour. Didn't seem to matter. Brian, I hope you're feeling better, by the way, dude. He's not.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Hot Toxic could be a parody retail store.
Oh, no. Hot Toxic.
Man, is there anything we need to speak on this before we get out of here?
Shitty toxic band or not, Dance Gavin Dance might as well be like my fucking Eagles or some, you know what I'm saying? Like they're my band that I've rocked every album and their catalog, and they're probably going to be around for some time, barring any crazy fucking disasters. Hey man, get your guys' shit together. You've reached a pinnacle to where this behavior now needs to be paid attention to because you've got the world at your hands at certain points.
You can't keep ignoring this shit, dude.
Like you guys have opportunities that normal bands in the scene don't get, and you're going to fuck it away if you keep fucking up like this.
These awful allegations coupled with Tim's tragic death, this should be a wake-up call for them. And it seems like Tillian's just sinking, dude. Like he's
don't
slipping.
Let this be the catalyst for destruction, because if that's the case, man, what a sad turn. You guys got an album that's highly anticipated, fucking dropping singles that are fire. You guys just did a tour minus Tim and on the back of Heartbreak, and it was a successful tour. So you guys can't be letting this shit keep piling on, man.
Is Kurt Travis a decent dude at least, or are they 3 for 3 with shitty, clean vocalists? Yeah, Kurt's cool. He's just a weird cat. I got no complaints. He's very artistic. He rode his bike to the show in Sacramento. I don't think he has a driver's license or like ever has. But yeah, like Kurt's like very open. I think like any fan could message him and probably get a hold of him. Kurt's the best dude ever. Dude, if I were Andrew Wells, I would just quit the band and stick to Idola. Shit.
Are you kidding me? Andrew Wells stocks.
Daddy Dola. The subreddit just sucks today with people being toxic to victims and people going straight to speculating what the band will do after this as if it's more important. That's true. You can tell where people's priorities are. You know, what's going to happen to the band? Bro, like, what's happening to the victim? Like, is she okay?
I mean...
Shit.
Bro. The adage that you're gonna die right now and your job's gonna have your fucking position on the internet tomorrow, like there's truth to that and everything. A fan is gonna hear that a member of their favorite band died, and even if it's their favorite band, they're still gonna go, I wonder who the replacement's gonna be.
And It's fucking insane. Cameron Turnham, a little late to the party.
Welcome to the
Pretty bad
scene.
allegations levied against Dance Gavin Dance
just
vocalist.
go to Twitter and just type in Tillian.
Whether they like it or not, fans and bands look up to DGD, and on some level, they should take that consideration seriously.
Absolutely. They should take their status seriously. Come on. This isn't a fluke. What band is going to fucking tour the country screaming and singing back and forth almost nonsensically, just repeatedly, and write stupid songs with stupid lyrics and actually fucking... I've had the most random people come up to me because I have a Dance Gavin Dance t-shirt on and go, "Oh, you listen to Dance Gavin?" I'm talking bros. I'm talking dads.
I tell them no.
Dads that wear dad hats and like dudes that barbecue on the weekends. What? Huh? Who barbecues on the weekends?
There's nothing wrong with barbecuing on the weekend.
I mean, dudes that fucking work in factories and probably...
Are we shitting on factories? You're factory shaming now?
Probably chew on fucking tobacco all the time. Come up to me and go, I can groove to some Dance Gavin Dance. I like them. And they spit, and it's just like, oh, okay, all right, Dance Gavin, you're just appealing to everybody out here. All right, that's cool. And you just go about your fucking howdy on day and yeet.
Bunch of cousin fuckers, huh?
Bunch of cousin fuckers. Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Okay, so let's take it serious here for a minute. I want to reiterate, I believe the victim. I believe both of them. I'm sickened that there's more. I think they're incredibly brave because if you look at what's being said to them, it's really disheartening, man. This is someone who went through a trauma, and you're a part of the same community. You like the same band, and you do not support each other at all. You're not having her back. So, stand with the victims, man. If I see this show proof shit again, I'm going to slap each and every one of you fucking clowns. Believe me, you don't want to see proof. You don't want to see vaginal tearing. You don't want to see a rape kit. You motherfuckers are sick.
Yeah.
It's not a word I thought I would ever say on this show.
Vaginal tearings, yeah. I didn't think either.
Oh my god, and it's not even a death metal episode, dude.
I didn't even think we'd go there. Anyways.
Trigger warning. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Are we gonna... yeah, I think a good way to sum this up... You out of here? Peace out. Love you.
Wow. We're doing a show right now.
Know. You about to see me kiss live? You ready for this?
Get the fuck out of here.
You brought me back too late. I was gonna say, and I said this in a recent incident that I had to deal with. Hey, we're all adults. Someone mentioned in the comments, I'll throw it up here. Hey, most members in the band are nearing 40. That could be true. We're all adults here. We don't need to be getting in trouble for shit that we got in trouble for when we were fucking 13 years old. So, and that was getting drunk and making stupid decisions. So let's, I don't know, maybe act like adults. Yeah.
What are the other DGD episodes titled? There's
One Night in Dallas, right?
Yeah, it's called One Night in Dallas. DGD One Night in Dallas. I believe it's episode 95. It's on the YouTube. The link, it's that URL right there. I also have like 2-3 really old in-person interviews from like 2013. I know a lot of people don't get to interview Will or John, so we got that out the way. And if you're into it, there's a band Johnny Craig interview from like a lifetime ago that you can go watch where he shits on a bunch of people. Other than that, we're live every Friday night bringing you a bunch of new underground, awesome new music, new bands, trying to keep the scene alive. Brian, we're a fucking pillar for the scene, okay?
Trying
when
to be
something like this happens, someone's got to step up and talk about it. I don't think there's a lot of people well equipped to speak about serious topics. Some have a problem with the way I cover it. That's fine. I'll take your criticism. I'd love to hear what you think. But this is something serious that I think we shouldn't stray away from. I think that we need to look this type of shit in the eye and accept what the reality is, that there are bands that really do this type of thing. That don't meet your idols, man. There's just some shitty people out there. I hate that it has to be Dance Gavin Dance, that it's Tillian, because I aside from knowing Tillian's a player, I didn't really have any complaints about him. I thought he was one of the nicer dudes to me on that tour, and This is insane. I believe the victim. I stand with both of them. I'm really, really upset, man. I'm really upset about Tillian, and it's just fucking ugly. Last words?
I mean, I was gonna try to get you to promote socials, but we've already said vaginal tearing. I mean, I just feel like we're ending on down notes. I just feel like we're so. There's your socials, my socials. If anybody cares, Bryan of Death, Common Chaos, my podcast. Check it out. New shit. Vaginal tearing? I don't know.
I got a picture of Will as a watermelon,
Which is racist, intrinsically racist.
but you know he picked the watermelon. You know.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. And therefore, it's not racist because he's black. And